had been wanting to work in the treatment field for a long time. Well, when I got clean this time, this was not my first attempt at getting clean. It took me a few tries. Inpatient treatment, 6 different tries exactly. Numerous detoxes, numerous stints in jail, like a lot of stuff. But I just knew that I always wanted to work in the treatment field. I wanted to work with addicts and people that were like me to help them understand that they weren't alone, and that there were people out there that could help them. And so I was working actually at a different treatment center, just as an RA, and I just felt like that's not where I needed to be. I wasn't helping my clients like I needed to be helping them. And so I called my old counselor here at Mahajan, and I basically just begged him to give me a job. And I did that every day for like a month, and I finally got an interview and I got hired. So I started with the housing program. We have a sober living program here at Mahajan. It just put me where I needed to be. I was having more intimate contact with the clients. I was hearing their stories, and I was able to share my experience, strength, and hope with them. And it was easier for them to relate to me, I think, than some of the other staff members, because I had been through those same experiences, and they felt more comfortable with me. And that's what I wanted. I wanted my own experience with addiction to be able to help someone now. I want people to see that it doesn't matter how far you've fallen because of your addiction, that you can always get back up and your life can be so much more than you expected it to be. I'm not gonna say that recovery is easy. It's definitely got its ups and downs. It's a roller coaster of a ride, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. I'm married today. I have, kids that I get to be a part of their lives. I have this amazing job, and I get to work with addicts and, help them really see their worth and get back on their feet. And these are things that I remember praying for, when I was living underneath of a bridge and just wanted to end my life. I prayed for these things, and it took a while, but I got here. And I think that anybody is capable of recovery as long as you put in the footwork. If someone asked me, like what advice I could give them if they were wanting help for their addiction, the best advice that I could give someone is to reach out. Absolutely reach out. You'd be surprised how many people are on the other side that not only are willing to help you, that want to help you. It took me a long time to realize that I wasn't a burden on other people, that there were people that, really, really wanted to be there for me, and I just had to allow them to do that. I've gotten to experience a lot of things since getting clean and sober that I probably never would have, or I for sure didn't get to experience while I was out using. But the biggest blessing for me is being able to be a mother to my kids, because I wasn't. I had pretty much decided that my son would be better off without me, and I really believed that, and I know now that that's absolutely not true. Do my kids get on my nerves? Absolutely. That's what kids do. But I'm grateful that I'm able to be there for them to get on my nerves. Just being present in their lives is a huge, huge deal. I don't want them to ever grow up and think that they weren't loved or that they weren't cared for. I want them to, without a doubt, know that they have a mom that's always going to be there for them. The thing that I would like to let the general public know about addiction because I think a lot of people are misinformed or just not informed at all, is that we don't choose to be this way. It's not a choice, this is a legitimate disease, and that it doesn't discriminate. Not everyone that is an addict lives underneath of a bridge or is homeless. A lot of them are judges, lawyers, doctors, upstanding members of society. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's going to affect every person that it can. But shaming addicts, I think, is probably the worst thing that people can do, because, we're all somebody's daughter, son, sister, mother. We weren't always this way, and everyday living in active addiction is rough, and nobody wants to be there. So, maybe just offer your help, or even just sit down and listen to somebody that's going through something. Sometimes that can be the absolute best thing for anyone, just someone to actually listen to them. I think that a lot of why I really love Mahajan is because they are not just an AOD treatment. We also do mental health. A lot of our services, a big part of that is mental health. And for addicts, you can't just treat the disease, you have to also treat the mental illness part of it. And when I say that, it's because I can speak from my own personal experience. When I would attempt to get clean these other times, it would work for a little bit. I would stay clean for, a few months and then relapse, a year and then relapse. And it was because I wasn't really looking at the root of the problem. So, and I knew that. So it was either, I wasn't ready to face that yet, or maybe I just, didn't know how to ask for that kind of help yet. But when I was ready, I knew that I needed to work on that because I had been through treatment so many times. I understood the addiction part of it. I know the 12-step program. I know the AOD curriculum. I know about sponsorship. I knew all of those things. But there was a reason that I kept going back to the drug use that was bigger than the drugs, because ultimately the substances I was using were the solution to my problem. I was using them to escape what was going on inside of me. And once I started to really work on my mental health issues, like deep-seated problems, that had been there for years, that's when I could fully recover, because I was more self-aware of what was going on with me. I could pick up on trigger cues. I knew when I was about to go into a depressive episode, and I could snap myself out of it. Because a lot of times when I would be depressed in the past, my go-to would be to use drugs. I don't want to feel this way anymore, so I'm going to mask it. So mental health is a huge, huge part of what we do at Mahajan, and it is so important for anyone going through any kind of AOD treatment, whether it be inpatient or outpatient, that they at least, have some kind of assessment to see if that's what they need, because a lot of us do. It's so beneficial, and it helps with the long-term aspect of sobriety.